Shake it on up.
Hello, and welcome to Portland with Patrick. My name is Patrick Russell, and I will be your host. Tonight's episode is a break from our normal series about the arts and culture in Portland. We're doing something a little bit different tonight. Tonight is actually a live call-in show. If you're watching this, it's very possible that it is actually live right now, or more likely you might be seeing a recording of the show. But if you are seeing it live, you're welcome to call in at 207-775. And the topic of tonight's show is outer space. And outer space is something that has fascinated humans since pretty much the beginning of time. We've always, as a species, wanted to explore and go into new places and learn about the universe around us as much as we can. And until fairly recently, it was a dream that was impossible for anyone. Until 1961, when the first human went into space, he was a Soviet cosmonaut named Yuri Gagarin. And since that day, more and more people have continued to go out into space and explore what's out there. And we've had some fascinating scientific discoveries since people first went out into space. But I feel what's almost even more important is the philosophy of our planet being just a tiny dot in the middle of a giant universe. And it's one thing to understand that and to hear about it, but to see it firsthand would just be a life-changing experience. And as of today, there have been just over 500 people that have experienced varying degrees of space travel. From the Apollo astronauts who actually stood on the moon and saw the Earth rise above the horizon and saw the Earth sitting this tiny dot amongst the vastness of outer space, to 8 people that have actually been space tourists and have paid between $20 and $30 million to go up into a Russian space station. And we actually have our first caller into the show right now. Caller, you're on the air. Oh, no.
Great.
Hello, this is Patrick. Portland with Patrick. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Patrick?
Oh, I'm doing good, thank you.
I'm a really big fan of your show. I love it, and I watch it all the time.
Oh.
And I have a question for you, if that's okay.
Yeah, I would love to hear your question.
All right. My question is, what is it about space that makes you want to do this?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. I mean, I'm sure many people in the world want to go into outer space, but for me, it's always just been, ever since I can first remember at the earliest age, I've just wanted to travel as far away as I can get and just see what's out in the world and the universe around us. When I was first a little kid, my earliest memory was changing my pajamas in the back of a car just about to go over the Canadian border. And since that moment, I've just always wanted to explore. And I feel when I'm in a new place or somewhere that's just far and distant to me, it just changes my perspective, and it just makes me think of wonderful things that I never would have, thoughts that would have never occurred to me before.
Wow, that's exhilarating. That's a great answer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for calling. I hope you continue to watch my show, and it's really nice to hear from you.
Well, thank you, and I definitely will. Like I said, I'm a big fan.
Oh,
Thank you, and good luck on this.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Have a nice night.
Thank you. You too. Bye now.
Bye. So yeah, that's a little bit about my mission. And $20 to $30 million is definitely something that very few people can afford. Fortunately, space travel is becoming moderately more affordable. Still, a ticket to outer space is something much more than I could personally afford. And I think it's important for people to go to outer space, not just from a perspective of science in terms of understanding the way everything is made, but for someone to go and observe people in outer space and look at how someone's life will change from before being on Earth to actually experiencing a few moments in outer space. So over the past couple of years, there's a company called Virgin Galactic, which is one of Richard Branson's many entrepreneurial ventures. And his company is aimed at bringing the cost of space travel down by about 1,000 times cheaper, or maybe 100 times cheaper. But either way, it's something that more people will be able to afford. And there's actually almost 500 people signed up to go into outer space right now. It is my mission to be one of them and to go out of the Earth's atmosphere and see the curvature of the Earth and see the Earth against the background of the massive universe around us, and to see people out there and see how it changes people. And I think it's for the better. I don't think that an experience like that could have a negative impact on someone. I just think it would make a wonderful change in many people's lives. So that's what my film is going to be about. The entire process beginning right now. I've only told 3 or 4 close friends and family about this mission, and beginning tonight, live on Community Television Network, I'm telling all of you that this is my mission in life right now, is to make this happen. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about Virgin Galactic and how the mission is going to go. So this is a Wikipedia article that I printed out. As of September 2011, there are around 450 ticket holders in line to fly with Virgin Galactic. The craft is projected to be a 6-passenger, 2-pilot craft. Its planned trajectory will overlap the Earth's atmosphere at 70,000 feet, which will make it a suborbital journey with a short period of weightlessness. The spacecraft, Spaceship 2, will be carried to about 16 kilometers, or 552,000 feet. That can't be right. I think it's more higher up than that. By a carrier aircraft, White Knight 2. At that point, when the carrier aircraft reaches its maximum height, the Spaceship 2 vehicle will separate and continue to over 100 kilometers, the Karaman line, a common definition of where space actually begins and the Earth ends. The time from liftoff of the White Knight booster carrying Spaceship 2 until the touchdown of Spaceship 2 after the suborbital flight will be about 3.5 hours. The suborbital flight itself will only be a small fraction of that time. The weightlessness will last approximately 6 minutes. Passengers will be able to release themselves from their seats during these 6 minutes and float around the cabin. So that's that's a very short time. Many people that travel go places for weeks or months or even years at a time. But I don't think it's necessarily the amount of time that you're on a trip that defines the life-changing aspect of the trip. I think it's being in outer space, even for just a couple seconds, could change anyone's life forever. And as more people continue to get out into outer space, the cost will undoubtedly become more affordable. I mean, the first airplane rides, I'm sure, were something that nowhere near the common person could afford. But today, people fly routinely around the country and the world, and it's something that just about everyone has experienced, at least in this country. So I think that as more people are able to go into outer space, as a human race, we will become more open-minded. And that's just so important, being more accepting of all the people around us and just understanding. The more that we understand our universe, the more open-minded and positive people will be, and life on Earth will be. So in case anyone that's watching this show thinks that this is a comedy episode of Portland with Patrick, I want to assure you that I'm 100% serious about this mission, and this is something that I've just wanted all my life. And as a child growing up, and as a teenager, and until just fairly recently, it was a dream that I didn't think would ever come true. And that was a shortcoming on my part. And today, I realize that this is totally possible. And I'm looking to you, the viewers of Portland, of Patrick, and the world, anyone watching this show, and anyone that believes in my mission, to please check out.
Hey, Patrick.
Hello, caller.
Hi.
You're on the air. Welcome.
Oh, whoa, cool. Thank you.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Just making some dinner, and I was watching your show, and I have a question. It's actually a question for my cat, Jackson.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, Jackson, I'll translate for you. Jackson was wondering if non-human animals can go into space, and if so, if he could possibly, if he starts his own Kickstarter, if he could join you on going to space.
Oh, thank you. That's a wonderful question. I'm pretty sure that the first creature, and I actually should have started by saying this because it's very important, that the first creature to go into outer space actually was not a human. And
I must have missed that part of the show.
No, I didn't say it on the show because you just reminded me with your question.
Cool.
I believe it was a monkey or possibly a dog was actually the first living organism to go into outer space. So my answer to you and more importantly to Jackson is absolutely, you would be very welcome in outer space, as we humans were not even the first creature to go out into space. So absolutely, yes.
Cool, thank you so much. He's like really excited. He's like rubbing against my legs right now. He's super happy.
It's entirely possible.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice night. So yeah, that's great that she reminded me that. That's very important to realize. We are so evolved as a species, but we actually weren't the first to go into outer space. So I was beginning to talk about my campaign to raise funding for my documentary film, and as part of that film, I will be going into outer space. I don't believe that any honest documentary filmmaker could make a film about somewhere that he's never been before, and I would love to be the first documentary filmmaker to go into space and document how the trip will be life-changing for me and the other people on board with me. And this is only the beginning. In our lifetimes, we're going to see such great miracles that technology will bring us in our own even beyond that technology is our drive to explore and understand the universe around us. There are actually missions that are in the works right now for a couple of years out to circle around the moon and see the surface of the moon up close. And these are all, they're very expensive, but they are something that people will be able to experience. And I can hope that the cost will become more affordable as technology continues to advance. I think it would be wonderful if someday everyone that lives on Earth could at least once, for just a couple minutes, see the Earth from the outside. And I think it would be a wonderful world if that were possible. Looks like we have another call coming in. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, hello. Thank you for calling in to Portland with Patrick. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, and how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. So do you have a question for me, or?
I do have a question for you. I was wondering if you will be able to play rock and roll in space.
That's a great question. Man, I mean, so much of my life is lived to the soundtrack of rock and roll. It's something that just makes me excited and happy, and I couldn't imagine being in outer space without maybe hearing some music. But on the other hand, I've never experienced the quiet of outer space before, and even in the quietest places I've ever been, there is the sound of the wind or the leaves rustling or the rain or any. I've never experienced total silence before, right. So I almost think if it would be possible during the rocket ride to space, I would like to have rock and roll playing. But then once we reach the I forget what it's called, but the point where the Earth ends and outer space begins, I would want to shut off the music and just experience the nothingness out there. I think that would be a very important part of the trip. Never experienced total nothingness before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you for calling in. I hope you're able to continue to see future episodes of my show, and I definitely would love to hear you again on a future call-in show sometime.
That would be great. I would be interested.
Thanks, man. Have a great night.
You as well.
Thank you. But I hadn't thought about that before. I mean, I'm always in the car listening to rock and roll music, but that would be pretty amazing to be riding in a spaceship with some music playing also. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of my film and my mission right now. And you're welcome to visit my website, PortlandWithPatrick.com, and there will be much more information and updates about my mission. And as it gets closer to the day when I eventually am able to travel and document some of the first people to, not the first people, but people going into outer space and more people, you'll be able to see updates about that as well. And please, if you have any questions, if you're seeing this show recorded and not the live version, I'd love to hear from you. Please send me an email. My personal email address is patrickwalkerrussell@gmail.com. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate your viewership of my show, and have a great night.